Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another live episode of Jacob's Ladder. That's right, we're live, and it's been a minute, so who knows how it's going to go. We could have all sorts of crazy things happen, but you got to tell me in the live chat if you hear me okay and if you think everything's going good, because we have quite a bit to discuss. Oh my goodness, whiplash! I know a little something about whiplash. On January 20th, I had the terrible car accident where lost high-frequency hearing, and now I hear nonstop high-frequency pitched noise screaming in my ear like it's like a torture. My life was changed. And I also got some pretty bad whiplash. Whiplash, which causes like a traumatic brain injury. Massive concussion. It was really bad. Even had some memory issues. Then again, I have memory issues all the time. All right, so everybody hears me okay. It's meatball time. We got a lot of people here already this is just fantastic. I hope that you had like the best Christmas ever. Ho, ho, ho. And I hope it wasn't with a bottle of rum as the pirates. Yeah, it's a weird day. It's a weird day. And Santa, many people call Satan, Claus showed up in a big way for many people, at least online. I, for one, I lucked out. I got like a new spiffy new chair, which wasn't mine. It was for Anthony. I'm so incredibly frugal, and I should just say cheap, that I've been sitting on like a broken chair that I've had for 10 years with like a million back things to support me. And this is like expensive. It's like $150 this chair. It's a good chair. It's nice. It's nice. I'm hoping that I can do more of these shows. But just take a look at this thumbnail for a second. You're asking probably why. Why do I got Beyonce cowboys? And why do I got Elon and Vivek Ramaswamy as the Indians? Cowboy and Indians. And it's not like, one of those things, when you hear the word Indian, you think of, Native Americans. Nativism. What is that word, right? Nativism. It means that if you're born in the country, you have better rights than people that aren't. I guess. Maybe you get first dibs at a job before somebody is hired, from another country. And you're left out to, eat Cheetos, I guess. I don't know. I don't eat any of that nonsense. But this is a weird thing. Whiplash is a very shocking type of experience to have. It's one of those things where you don't expect it. And it's a change of direction. A change, that's what's going on. This is what I feel. I actually have two things of tea today. I do. Because I feel like this is one of those that I'm going to need my voice for. It's just, the day we're in is it's a strange one. It's a strange one. So, let's start off with the stuff that's happening with Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon before we get into a whole host of other things. The Trumpster, as Santa himself, making Xmas great, not Christmas, Xmas, which is okay. I had to tell somebody that at the gym today. I had to say, the X comes from the Greek chi, which is in the chi rho, which is basically, it's like Christ. So you see X, it's like seeing Christ, But Ramaswamy, who everybody, look, these guys are billionaires, right? You got Elon, who's like I think he's probably, I don't know, by today, I think he's probably at $500 billion, $500 billion, maybe, or more. He's got quite a bit of money. And then, of course, you got Ramaswamy, who's also a billionaire. All these billionaires that are going to do right by us, or so they say. And by the way, yes, happy Hanukkah. Mercy saying, thank you for the super chat, Terry. Look at that, first super chat in a long time. I appreciate that. The support it's really just, it's huge. But we got a lot of different holidays. You got Kwanzaa, you got this, you got that. Listen, whatever you celebrate, I hope you had a good one. But every day is a day that you should celebrate, and every day is a day where you need to wake up. And if you don't, you're going to get shook up. And you're not going to be ready for it. There's a scripture that says that you're not like those who are asleep when that day comes upon you, like sudden destruction. Like a child is about to be birthed in the world and wham, you're in labor and it's time to deliver. But you're not like them. when this whiplash hits, you're going to be singing. You're going to be singing and sitting pretty. I know it. I feel it. I feel it. But if you're an American, according to Vivek, it seems like he doesn't think that the culture of Americanos are anything to be excited about. In fact, just so you know, these are the guys that are going to be in charge, okay? Some people call it a little bit of an oligarchy. I don't know. I said that we were going to be changing. I told everybody we're going to be entering a hard time. I felt that it was coming. I just felt like it was coming. And then here it is. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I know that it's going to be what it's supposed to be, because this is what God does. God comes in. If things aren't bearing good fruit, he's going to shake the tree up. He's going to put a lot of crap on it. He's going to dig it up. He's going to break off the branches and going to make sure that you're producing some fruit. According to Vivek, this guy, it's not like he came from nothing. He came from migrant parents, and they were pretty well to do. It's not like it was like my mom, who's 19, who had me at 19 years of age, living in projects. My father took off. I came from nothing. Talk about people start off in life. They have a little bit. I didn't go to no Harvard. Okay. My daughter got into all the big schools. We couldn't afford it because of the old wackadoo mandates. The one dream school that she got like a big time scholarship to, like her dream school forever. She ended up not doing it. What did we do? We did the state school, and now she's into the top medical school in New York. I'm not going to tell you all because I don't want you to go try to track her down, because she's awesome. All my children are awesome. Why? They have a good work ethic. Why? Because I think I'm a decent parent, and I want them to be raised to be the same. I want them to live a good life. And this is just the way things are today. So anyway, so Vivek, he does this thing, and it is just not going over too well. So he's got this America first means we want America to win. Playing second place doesn't cut it, he says. It comes down to this. Do you want America to win, or do you want America to lose? I mean, what do you want? I want us to all win. In fact, it's because I know that, people here too, they're not just from America. I know a lot of you who are watching, you're from all over the place. And that's pretty awesome. And it seems to me like what they want and what they're going into is they just want the best talent. They're like, we're going to have the best talent. But you know what? I don't know if it's so much about having the best talent. I got to be honest with you. In a second, you're going to see what I mean. Because I think that when I looked at this post that he has, and you'll see right next to him, that's the Shadow of Ezra. Shadow of Ezra is a big time, I guess, channel on X, and he's kind of known for his provocative posts. But something that you should probably consider, where he writes, Elon and Vivek have openly advocated for bringing in skilled workers from different countries. Okay, so that's like not a bad thing, right? I mean, who thinks it's a bad thing? You got to tell me once again in the live chat if you think it's a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing to bring in people, but there's a little bit of a loophole. You see, this is the thing. Here's some American workers are sharing their stories about being replaced by cheaper foreign labor under this H-1B visa program, which they're very keen on. The H-1B, it allows you to bring in laborers, and you don't have to pay them as much. And that's not that great. This loophole allows for outsourcing of U.S. jobs to low-cost foreign workers. So the question is it really about getting the best players? Is that really the thing? I don't know. That's what they say. These billionaires. He made a lot of money, Vivek, because, he was peddling he was in the pharmaceuticals. I don't know if you know this about him, but yes, I even think he sued, the Pfizer company. I think he even sued them. That's just goes hand in hand with these mRNA things. He's involved in all that stuff. And, now he's in charge, another billionaire. He kind of like grabbed this company that was sort of failing, And he was peddling this, supposedly they say he was peddling this dementia treatment that never really worked, like failed 4 times in trials. But he came in, bought it on pennies on the dollar, came in, put a shine on it, did his fancy talking, his fancy dancing talking, right? Because he's a good talker, Silly when he plays tennis with his shirts off, but he's a good talker, smart guy. He's a billionaire. I'm not a billionaire, right? So I'm not gonna say the guy doesn't know what he's talking about. But he ended up selling, making a lot of money. They come in, they build it up, and then they pull the thing. They pull their money out, and then they make tons of money. And next thing you know, and I think his company even got bought out. But listen, I don't have an autobiography on Vivek Ramaswamy, but I do want to read this to you because it has angered me, and it's going to really set the stage to what's coming next. Okay, so the reason he says top tech companies, and you got to weigh in on this. You all got to tell me in the comment section if you think that you think that American culture's lazy. You think it's all about the football, who's the football champion, or who's the prom queen. You think that that's what America's all about? You think that's what my culture's not about that? I tell you, I come from a hardworking culture, and I think that most Americans are hardworking. And yes, maybe our children and the generation that is rising up now, maybe they're a little more lazy. Maybe they go to the store in their PJs. Maybe there's a reason for that because of the lockdowns, because of the government. The government set this up to be the way it is, okay? They said no longer can you get first place, everybody gets a trophy. This is, the architects are the ones that set it up. It's not the Americans or the countrymen of that country. I just had a show, by the way. I don't know if you saw my show. I had Lionel on. I feel like I arrived a little bit with Lionel on, right? I guess he's a big name. I was a little surprised that more people didn't watch it. But if you haven't seen the show, you should check it out. But he was saying that he can blame people for being ignorant. He can blame people for being lazy and dumb. I say, if people don't know how to fish, you should teach them how to fish and not give them the fish. I think we got to teach a generation. We got to raise up a generation. But if they're in the business of making money, slashing costs, they're having a good old time. Are you having a good old time? Making jokes. Jeff Bezos is out partying, having a good old time. I guess he's getting married. And there was some fake news going around that he was going to have like a $600 million wedding or something ridiculous like that, which wasn't true. But this guy, Amazon, everybody's on strike. I've done shows about Amazon, about the people that work for Amazon, that they had to go to, some of them go to the bathroom in cups and stuff because everything's so analyzed. And now Vivek is saying, after Amazon's been making things hard, he's saying, no, we need to be even harder on them. That's the culture. Let me read this to you because it really it got me so angry. But you tell me, is it propaganda? You know what I mean? Is it supposed to make us angry? Is it supposed to be one of those things where it's like, you're told you're no good your whole life? You're no good. You'll amount to nothing. You're going to do YouTube. What are you talking about? You're crazy. I was told a lot of things. I said, never going to own a house, never going to have a car, never going to have this, never going to have that. And I was like, oh, I'll show you. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe they're trying to light a fire under us. The whip is something that I said was coming to every area, and the whip is here, my friends. So let me read this to you. Let me pull this over so you can take a look at that. The reason top tech companies often hire foreign-born first-generation engineers over native. See that word native? Now this is all coming out after we're celebrating the nativity. Is there something weird about that? I think that there's something weird about that. I think that the whole thing is a little bit strange. He says it's not because of an innate American IQ deficit that they're lazy. He says that's not what it is. That's not the problem. A key part of this comes from the C word, culture. He's saying, well, Americans got terrible cultures, what he's saying. We hire other people because of the culture's so bad. And then he goes on to say a bunch of nonsense. He says tough questions demand tough answers. And if we really were serious about fixing problems, we have to confront the truth. Our American culture has venerated mediocrity. Not in my house. Not in my house. over excellence. Not in my house. How about your house? Do you say, oh, it's good, you got a C+? Or do you say, why didn't you get an A? You know, do you encourage your children? Do you encourage? And if you don't, you could do better. You could prove this guy wrong. Our American culture has been venerating mediocrity over excellence for way too long. Since the 90s, he says. That doesn't start in college, it starts young. A culture that celebrates the prom queen over the math Olympiad champ, or the jock over the valedictorian, will not produce the best engineers. I'm thinking we probably have a lot of great engineers that came from America. I think we have a lot of great programmers that came from, I don't know, Zuckerberg, he's right? He did all right for himself, but I don't know, if he was part of the 90s. He's another one, though. Jeff Bezos partying with Usher on the 55th birthday party of his bride-to-be. Amazon out there cold, protesting. We need more money. We need more money. No, you need to get back to work, Vivek says. We need more Whiplash movies. A culture that celebrates the prom queen over the math Olympiad. A culture that venerates Corey from Boy Meets World. I'm thinking Vivek probably watches way too much Nickelodeon or whatever it is. And that's a weird network. All you got to do is look into the people. I don't understand. I wouldn't even remember the name of these shows. But he's like rattling them off. He's like Corey from Boy Meets World or Zach and Slater over Screech. I don't know if you know what happened with Screech. The business of adult filmmaking with himself, and he ended up living a pretty pitiful life. Screech wasn't exactly, I think Mario Lopez went on to do the best stuff. I don't know. But once again, and that was a show about a bunch of rich kids. No wonder he watched it. I'm not saying he's a rich guy, but it sounds to me like he came from something. He was definitely richer than I was. He says, fact, he knows multiple sets of immigrant parents in the 90s who actively limited. Hey, guess what? It's not just immigrant parents that limit TV time or screen time. It's all parents that are responsible. All right? There are a lot of people in the United States of America, Vivek. Donald Trump, America first, brings in the guy who's like, no. Listen, I'm all for, this is going to sound like you're going to probably hold this against me. I'm all for getting rid of the borders and everything else. We're one group of individuals. We're the children of God. I want to see everybody come together. No more walls, right? But I'm an American, right? And isn't he supposed to be an American first guy? And if you look, we have Tulsi Gabbard. She's Hindu. I believe she's Indian. Hinduism is her religion. Vivek. And we got the Patel, Kash Patel. That's awesome. This is America. But don't tell me the culture, because the culture is the one that put these people in charge right now. The culture, American culture. They're going to be transforming into this golden age, which, by the way, I told you it was coming. And I compared it to what they called it was the Gilded Age. Not a great time. A time when there was child labor, right? Why can't we have 11-year-olds working in the coal mines? Do you see what I'm saying? This is where it leads, this whiplash philosophy. If they're out for themselves and not out for the people. This was a tone-deaf post that the guy put out. He is, I'm thinking he's going to get a little more blowback. I hope he gets a little more blowback because I really, this hurt my feelings as an American. He said, more movies. This is so funny. I know multiple sets of immigrant parents in the 90s who actively limited how much children could watch TV shows precisely because they promoted mediocrity. Yes, that's true. And but it's not just immigrant parents. It's all parents. It's all parents. They want the best. And if they're good parents, they're going to do the right thing. More movies like Whiplash. Whiplash was, just so you know, Whiplash was about a mentor who was abusive and horrible. And the results he got, which seemed like they were great results, they could be gotten another way. that could be gotten another way. So this is what troubles me, is the whole belief that you get a better servant or a better steward if you beat him. Because that's what you're basically saying, Vivek. You basically said this guy was abusive, and so you're basically saying it takes abuse. Well, I say that maybe you just don't know how to properly motivate people. Because I'll tell you one thing, as somebody who was a manager, I'm about to talk about the mattress store, but I was a manager of a bunch of salesmen. Before that, I was an Emmy Award-winning TV writer and producer too, and I was in charge of whole productions, okay? God's placed me in a bunch of stuff, but I was always humble, and I never yelled, and I never screamed. But you know how I got great results? By doing good by the team. Because we're only as good as our weakest link. By lifting them up, not by putting them down, using whiplash this is what's sick. Because this is what's coming in. I told you, it's going to be hell or high water time. It's going to be their way or the highway time. That's why I said if you're a good, productive member of society and you're doing well and you're working hard, you're not going to have to worry about it. But I'll tell you one thing, I don't know how Trump can sit back and just allow this without saying something. I mean, I can't imagine that he wouldn't be like, no, we have great Americans that are very capable of doing the same jobs. And wouldn't it be funny if this was all because of that loophole, of the fact that it just allows people to bring in cheaper labor? Here you think all these people are coming in, oh, we're going to do right by you. And then they fire everybody, right? Talk about like the post office, talk about the federal government. You talk about so many people are going to lose their jobs, going to come in with the chainsaw. Remember I did the video where I had him, baptism of the fire, Elon, ahead of time? That was coming. Now he's in charge of Doge. And Vivek, who's saying people should basically model their business off of the whiplash model. Something wrong with this guy. Something wrong with him. Now close your eyes, he says, visualize which families knew in the 90s who raised their kids according to one model versus the other. Be brutally honest. Normalcy doesn't cut into hyper-competitive global markets for technical talent. Man, this guy, this is our Sputnik moment. Of course he would talk about Russia. How funny is that? Because that's the kind of dictatorship talk that maybe tyrants would use. This is our Sputnik moment. Why can't it be our American moment? Americans did a lot. United States of America did a lot. Did a lot. This guy, who his parents, by the way, they came into the country so he could have a better life, right? And he did. Let's take a look. I know I'm going hard on Vivek, but this guy, he who is he? Let's see here. First of all, he's young, graduated from Harvard. But let's take a look at his parents for a second. Who's his parents? His father's a graduate of the National Institute of Technology. Okay, so he was an engineer, a patent attorney for General Electric. Okay, this is somebody who made some money. Okay, so maybe Vivek had a little bit of a hand up in the matter here. I'll tell you one thing. You start off with nothing, you build your way and you claw your way and you climb your way to the top. And then you talk about the culture. Because the culture that I grew up with, I'm 53. Culture I grew up with and that I instill upon my children is one, whiplash doesn't come into play. But grace does. Power, right thinking. But you know what's interesting? As I said, the whip was coming. Remember that little test I put out 1 month, 1 day ago? This is a test. Soon you'll hear about this. Something like this, Think Money Changers Table. And I talked about how the whip was coming everywhere. The whip. We had the shows on Daystar. We had the shows on the finances. So it's coming everywhere. The whip. Whiplash. Isn't that wild? That is trending. Guess what number? Number 22. Now here's weird, okay? This is where I'm going to tie all this into Christmas and Santa Claus and Trump. And then it's going to go way off the rails. So I hope you're buckled up for this. And I hope that, a lot of people, I'm going to tell you how many, this is how sad this is. We've got so many people here and I didn't tell anybody to hit the like yet. I barely have any likes. A lot of you here. Do me a favor. X out of chat. Now you're going up. That's right. We want to see the likes, because then it tells YouTube, look, people like this show. They want to hear that the culture of America is not terrible. I mean, if you come and you live in my neighborhood, I help out the neighbors. I do things. And we're in the United States. The culture here, and we're all diverse. I have someone from China, someone from Pakistan, I have someone from Nigeria, and they're all my neighbors. We want to bring in people that are great, of course. But if it's for cheap labor, there's a big problem. But you know what else is weird? It's the fact that Whiplash is starred by this guy. I think his name's like J.K. something, Ralph something. I don't know what his name is. But he's a very good actor. But I just happen to remember that he was also in the movie Red One, the Rock's new Christmas movie where Santa is kidnapped. And that's wild if you think about it, because I feel like there's something going to go on with the old Santa Claus, to the Trump the Claus in a second. A while ago, I did this video, 2022. You better watch out. You better not shout. Talking about the strict, hard days to come, where I put him in this. I put him in, in the Santa hat, in the Santa outfit, and basically, he's Trump Claus. I talked about he was compared by Elon. Elon compared him to Sulla, I guess it was like an emperor, a Roman emperor, who you better, if you're naughty, you're in some serious trouble. No better ally, no greater enemy. And that's really kind of what makes Trump so great. But he seems to be one of those guys that he's going to be, well, he says he is at least, that he's going to be a little more tolerant. He's going to be a little more tolerant, that he's not going to be coming after his enemies. He's not going to be petty. But I'll tell you one thing, for somebody whose whole platform was, make America great again, America first, this whole thing. And then you have your two stars of the show, and they're both, one of them here, I guess technically illegally, as in Elon, who they said that would possibly make a great Speaker of the House. Maybe he will. I don't know. He clarified this whole talk about bringing in other people. He talked about like a very small percentage. He was trying to clarify it. But, this talk about making it a bad thing to prioritize the people that have been living here and paying taxes and doing everything their whole lives, that nativism is a bad thing. What about the people that put in the hard work? When the lockdowns hit, I was making maybe like $500 on YouTube at the time. I didn't take pay. I could have taken pay like everybody at my job. I didn't take the pay because the rule was, if you make like at least $450 a week, you shouldn't be taking unemployment, even though it was entitled to me. I couldn't work. They shut the place down. I didn't do it. You know why? Because I try to do the right thing. That's the culture that I believe in, that comes from the United States. Hard working. My grandfather, who's going to be 100 years old. My father right now, pray for him. My stepfather, he's in the hospital right now. He's got the virus of the crown again, and he's real bad, and they moved him. That's how my mom spent, my poor mom, working her whole life still. I don't make enough to take care of her, but I'm here for her. Poor thing, having Christmas, spending it in the hospital. Very difficult today for so many people. But to say that people are lazy, that's a problem to me. He's saying, oh, it's not lazy. It's just the way you've been raised. Not in my house. But anyway, the fact that I said make America great again would be making Xmas great again. You take a look at the thumbnail right there. Well, Trump has certainly made X great again, as far as everybody's concerned. And now it seems that he is also wearing Santa's outfit. But take a look at the time. That was 2 years, 2 months, 2 days ago. Always got to get that in, the 222. I always got to get it in for Danielle because she thinks it's funny. So, this thing about, you better watch out, you better not pout. You better just deal with it and suck it up. That's what's coming. I mean, this is, if you're new to the channel, I welcome you. And I'm glad you're here, and I hope that you subscribe, and I hope that you check the bell for notifications. I hope that you hit the like button now that you're in here. I hope that you go back and watch other shows and you continue to stay tuned. But this is something I've been saying. But if you're doing the right thing, you're going to be okay. I always tell people 1 foot in front of the other. 1 foot in front of the other. But there's a big to-do going on in the world today, and they're trying to tell us something. And I don't know if you caught Beyonce's last show, the Super Bowl halftime show. Yeah, there's her with the devil horns talking about, riding the old bull. So strange. Which is Baal, by the way. Baal is Bill. Wow, Stacy, thank you so much for the super chat. Stacy, you made my night. I appreciate it. All of you, by the way. Thank you for the super thanks. Thank you for Patreon. Thank you for PayPal. And the links are in the description of the video. Everybody that supports this channel. Somebody, Lisa was telling me she supported the channel for a long time. $1, $5, buying an I Am a Meatball hat. Any of this stuff, don't feel like it's not enough. Just sharing the video, hitting like, leaving a comment saying, I hope you're doing well. You don't got to send money. Anything that you can do to help me to reach other people is I'm grateful. I'm grateful for it. Because then I get to tell you how crazy all of this stuff is. Yeah, she came out, and of course you had the symbol that looks just like the Baphomet in the background. Very strange, the whole thing. Very strange. But not just that, the fact that if you remember all of the buzz that's going around right now with Jay-Z and with Beyonce and with, the diddler, it's all not so great. And the fact that this whole thing, this whole halftime show they were all dressed in white. It's very difficult not to think, oh my goodness gracious, they're doing something really in our face here. Very strange. Not to mention, I don't know if you heard, but this is like the new news. Okay. So why isn't Jay-Z more upset? He's showing up everywhere. Why isn't Beyonce? Why are they all dressed in white? Because they just had the white parties. What's going on? Right, Peanut? I love you too, Peanut. Thank you very much. You were awesome, brother. You look at this stuff and you think, maybe you could have used a different shade. Maybe everybody could have dressed red, white, and blue or something. But it's cowboys and Indians. It's the oldest game, cowboys and Indians. You see where I was going with that? It's the oldest game. And here we have the Cowboys. Man, they are making a mockery of a lot of weird things. All the singers in the background, veiled. If you take a look at them, they all are all strange. They're all Caucasian as well. But turns out that the lawyer that's connected to the Jay-Z, who's suing Jay-Z, and I guess he gave somebody an STD or something. And I guess he bashed somebody's teeth in or something. Who knows what to believe about anything anymore? That's the thing. But when people are telling you, hey, by the way, we're going to be hiring foreigners because the culture is not so hot here. And, maybe he has a point to a certain extent. But once again, who set the failure up for all of those children that were raised to think that way? And where were the parents? Things are going to change. I have hope for the future, even if China has developed it's a white emperor, a supersonic jet that actually can go into space. The reason why I'm pointing this out is the fact that it's called the White Emperor, because, of course, they were all dressed in white. And here, once again, Vivek, when he's saying this can be our Sputnik, why would he say Sputnik moment when we're the United States of America? You got to question these things. Was the Sputnik moment the greatest of all times? You got to tell me in the live chat, or you got to tell me in the comment section. I'm sure it was probably pretty awesome. You know, it wasn't catching no rocket with no chopsticks. If any of it really happens, that's the thing, you don't even know unless you're there and you can see it for yourself. But I think that you can go there and watch it for yourself. So maybe you should look into it. But yeah, so forget about worrying about drones. All right. China's got the white emperor now, and it's really no joke. It's something that we shouldn't be taking lightly. It's something that we really need to be paying attention to, especially because, you know, there's the talk that our Defense Department has, you know, it's not as intimidating and as great as it used to be. But I'm telling you, there is a change going on, and there's a reason why President Donald Trump keeps saying, I should say President-elect Donald Trump, because he hasn't been sworn in yet. That's a big weird thing, right? Because you expect everything to go as planned. In that video, by the way, thank you, Prairie Dog, for the super chat. Keep looking. I'm getting to Christ coming back. You wait. But you look at this, and in that video, guess what I was talking about? I was talking about some stuff having to do with Christ. And here we have some stuff going on with the Christ the Redeemer statue. Okay, you know, the one in Brazil that stands over, and you know, they like to project stuff on it, like the word vaccine. Yes, yeah, that was they did that back in the day. They also did something with Taylor Swift. I don't know if you remember that, when she was touring over there. But there is right now, and this is important because right now, Christ the Redeemer statue with, I have to tell you, if you don't know already, is an idol. Anything that represents a visual depiction of God, we'll say, is an idol. You know, celebrities can be idols too, of course, but the Redeemer statue, 100% an idol. That's, I mean, the very definition of it is, but they call it an icon. And in the Catholic Church, you're allowed to have icons. They got rid of that commandment, just so you know. They took that out. I'm not dogging Catholics. I was a Catholic once too. I'm a retired Catholic. I've retired from all denominations of Christianity. Now I like to just serve God. Okay? I like to do what Jesus did. That's what he said to do. Everybody else is like, no, you should do what my church says to do. Okay. Well, Brazil's iconic Christ the Redeemer statue is caught in a battle between the church and the state, and it's a big one. And in October, a bill was introduced proposing the transfer of the statue from the government to the Catholic Church. Now, the reason is they can't accept the fact that the Christ Redeemer statue, Brazil's most recognizable icon, remains in a state of neglect. This is the thing. I told you a heavy hand was coming. I told you Rome was coming. It's going back to the old days. We may see a time in the not too near future where if you're even outside of this one recognized world religion, you may have a little bit of a problem. But the church wants the idol back. They want to be in charge of it again. I see actually something symbolic and something wonderful with that too. Because if that's an outward reflection of the fact that the church should be in charge of the depiction of Christ, then I say spirituals, which is what the word church means. Ecclesia means to be called out. They should be in charge of the representation of Christ. We are the image of Christ. We're supposed to be, right? We're made in the image of God. And Christ is the image of the invisible God. So we're made in Christ. So the state shouldn't be in charge of it. You see what I'm getting at? I feel like there's something to it. But I got to tell you this. I did this, I don't know how long ago it was. I did this short with Taylor Swift. And I said, this proves how far removed people really are from God. Taylor Swift is honored over Christ the Redeemer statue in Brazil. so-called Christian influencers like Candace Owens were quick to defend the actual idolatry, like they were upset. Believe it or not, she was upset that Taylor was projected on it. It's a strange thing. All right, so let's take a listen to this, and hopefully I won't blow your ears out. Okay. I love when the Dan gets involved with the show. What the Dan was saying to me, we had Grandma Marie and David over, and of course the boyfriend, the Chris Shiloh's boyfriend, and Marissa Noah's girlfriend, and the whole family. It was an awesome time. We have a wonderful brunch. That Danielle knocks it out of the park with the French toast casserole. I can't wait to go downstairs and have leftovers. But you know what she was saying to me? She's like, husbands and wives do videos together. I'm like, yes, I've only been asking you for how long. So maybe we can get Danielle. Maybe you all can leave a comment. Tell Danielle to come on over. I don't know. I see all of this as being something positive. Okay. I see, like, even though the world we're in this whiplash moment, even though you got these billionaires saying that they're going to be cracking the whip and you better get in line. And if you don't like being yelled at work because you're not making your numbers, you need to get another job. It's the Gilded Age. It's the Golden Age. That's what's happening. But if you do a good job and you work hard, I don't know. Listen, I think it's wrong to treat people poorly. But if people aren't going to do things the right way, what happens? God comes in. He rises up people to correct them. This is a habit. Israel, right? They would forget about God. They'd live perverse, terrible lives, and then God would raise up a judge. The last judge is really Samuel, but the last one in the book of Judges who comes in and tears everything up is Samson. And we know all about the fires that have been lit, right? I mean, like literal fires being lit. It's a terrible day that we're in. It's a terrible day, but it's also in the darkest time. That's that moment where you have the greatest ability to fly. It's in your lowest moments when you can pick yourself up by the bootstraps. When you lose something, when something goes wrong, when you're thinking things are going to go the right way and they go the wrong way, but you still have an opportunity. It's a springboard. When you jump on a diving board, it has to go down first. And once it hits that lowest point, the greater the ability is to fly you up top. And man, this is the moment we're in. But we got to trust in God. We got to do the right thing. Got to do the right thing by others. In Syria, right now, there's a little bit of talk. I'm not sure if it's true or not. I'm not too sure if it's true or not, but there is talk that Christmas is going to be a national holiday. Now, you know what's funny about all this? Because this is like a great thing. This is the first time after Assad is gone that they did Christmas Mass. And it wasn't without like some kind of issues, and there was like security was on high alert, but the rumors are going around. I can't get a credible source, but they're saying the new government has now declared Christmas a public holiday. Catholic Church just opened all the doors, all the portals. Right? Petra's tomb. The devil comes down to sift Peter like wheat. This is the day we're entering into. The doors are open now. Nothing we could do about it. So of course we're going to see this this expansion. You know what's funny though is that everybody else was saying, like all the big time influencers that get plenty of play, that get like, you know, millions and millions of views, and everybody shares them, and you know, like Candace Owens, who said, that's it, everybody's going to be mass slaughtered. And like Alex Jones, that's it, everybody's going to die. Meanwhile, they had an event, they had something bad happen. They had like, you know, I don't know if somebody set the Christmas tree on fire in one area. It was in Damascus. Syrian Christians were attending Christmas Eve services on Tuesday for the first time since the overthrow of Assad in early December, to test out the new ruler's pledge to protect the rights of the country's religious minorities, because that's what they said. You know, Donald Trump was compared to a ruler named Cyrus, King Cyrus, who, by the way, was like, you all can have religious freedom, but you better not mess around. You know, as long as it doesn't affect other people, you better not mess around. That's why they loved Cyrus. He allowed them to rebuild. This is the day we're in. You're going to be okay as long as you don't mess around. Because there's going to be, trust me, it's going to get strict. It's going to get strict. But the new group that's in charge told visiting Western officials that they'll never seek revenge against the regime, and whose figures were drawn mostly from a more strict sect of Islam, nor will they repress any religious minorities. But Christians have yet to be convinced. It's like I've yet to be convinced that the future for the United States of America is a good thing. I'm yet to be convinced, but I'm hopeful and I'm optimistic because I'm looking at things happening. But when I hear Vivek saying all that stuff, man, I don't know. But the people, you know what? It's like, if you want to talk about the culture, why don't you talk about the political culture? You know, instead of bringing in other people, why don't we bring in some better leaders and get rid of the ones that are, paying, sex workers and then trying to explain it away like, well, I gave her money, but she didn't ask for it. Whole stuff with Matt Gaetz right now. But once again, I try to I'm trying to temper all my words lately because I don't want to throw everybody under the bus. People make mistakes. I've made mistakes. I'm sure you've made mistakes. You got to give people the ability to get better. I had a vibe that, Matt Gaetz's house would haunt him, his former. And by the way, that video that I did, The Promised Land Awaits, on October 5th, 2023, there you see Elon talking to the Speaker of the House. And I talked about how it would be just jumping the shark in reality if Elon was called to be Speaker of the House. And they're doing that. So strange. But at the same time, we got the all the articles out about Matt Gaetz, And it's not pretty, It's not pretty. But they're like, it's like illicit drugs. And he said, I smoke pot, Is it sensationalized? Is it excessive? The fact that this wasn't that many years ago, and the fact that you're, I don't know, I just don't think it's right that people that are leaders should be engaged in such a terrible, that's just such a moral. That's like a big deal, That's like a big deal. I really have an issue with it because I know how people are trafficked, and we see what's happening today with even this one influencer that everybody's talking about. I'm not even going to mention her name, where she's bragging about being with 18-year-old boys and bonding experiences with, and it's like, I think that's being shoved down our face for a reason, because that's not going to be tolerable in the future. You'll start to even see a change in music, I feel. This is whiplash. The pendulum swung way too far one way on purpose. Now it's going to be shocking to a lot of people. It's going to be shocking to a lot of people, but I don't think that we're going to be caught unaware. Do you? I don't think so. Okay, so that's my show. And that's the stuff. Is there anything that you want to tell me in a live chat before I go? because this is one of these things where, I just don't want to leave. Once I get to talking, I don't want to leave. I want to talk more and more and more. I mean, it's interesting with the Christ the Redeemer statue, Catholic Church taking over. The whip is coming, and whiplash, we have it, So this is what you do. If you want to support the channel, you get yourself a meatball hat. You go into the description of the video. I could use the help always. And these are ways you could do it. Get yourself some of the merch. I'm a Witness, the God's Champion, all that stuff. Or if you use Truly Free Home, best product ever. Okay, best product, no toxins, awesome, no terrible smell. Our dishes never get better. Has never been better than when we started using that. It's better for the environment, all that. If you use code Jacob, you get 30% off on top of whatever deal they're going. So go to trulyfreehome.com and enter code Jacob, 30% off, and you could start cleaning your house and not being stressed out about getting all sorts of, cancers or whatever that's attached to it. I love all you so much, and it's been a while since I've done a live show, so I hope that this was okay. Will you tell me? Because I tell you, it's difficult to do live shows. That's why I play the music in the background with this especially. It's very difficult to focus. I love all of you. Merry Christmas. Thank you for those that have wished me and my family a Merry Christmas, and I want to wish all of you the best New Year ever. I love you. Maybe I got a prediction show coming. Maybe that would be